The next-gen version of NBA 2K21 has been out for quite some time now, and I really wanted to dig deep into the game, specifically with MyCareer, before putting together my review. With my build being maxed out at 99 overall now, I'm confident that I've had enough time to give my thoughts. With slick graphics, updated presentation, new player movement, and a large city to explore, the next-gen version of NBA 2K21 does a lot of things very well, but a number of new and familiar issues prevent it from becoming the huge leap from current gen that many sports gamers were expecting. One of the first things you'll notice when playing the next-gen version of NBA 2K21 is the way players move on the court. The game moves more realistically than past 2K games due to improvements with foot planting and factoring each player's size and weight when moving around the court. It's hard to explain in words. You'll have to just play the game and you'll feel the difference. Everything you do on the court is more organic on both the offensive and defensive sides of the ball, from body bumps, dribble moves, rebounds, and dunks, and it's something you'll only find in the next-gen version of NBA 2K21. 2K took the negative feedback from gamers when it came to shooting on current gen to make subtle changes to shooting in next gen with the addition of a bigger shooting meter with a more identifiable green window. As with current gen, you can choose whether you want to go with shot aiming or shot timing, and although most have chosen to stick with shot timing, the ability to control ball trajectory and have two chances to green a shot makes shot aiming the more rewarding option. There is a deep learning curve. In fact, I wasn't a fan of shot aiming in current gen, but after playing with the aim mechanic for a bit, I actually got the hang of it, and it feels much better than it did on current gen. You simply have more control of your shot. It's a change for the better in my mind, but if you prefer to stick with the traditional shooting methods, they are still there for you to use at your discretion. Although player movement and shooting mechanics have changed for the better, there are other gameplay aspects of NBA 2K21 that need some tweaking. One issue is that AI teammates still have basketball IQ issues in all modes, irrespective of how talented they are. AIs miss wide open shots in MyCareer mode, they don't space the floor well at times, and can be a liability on the defensive side of the ball as well. 2K has attempted to alleviate these issues, specifically in Rec, but the AIs are still dumb as rocks, and despite multiple patches since launch, I haven't seen much AI improvement in the offline modes as well. Contact dunks were also a huge issue at launch. Regardless of what a defender's interior and or block rating was, people were getting posterized left and right at launch. A patch has fixed this issue, but it was a big problem for weeks and is something that has to be mentioned. Now, despite these issues, I personally enjoy the overall gameplay experience for next gen. The slower, more realistic player movement is a pleasure to experience, and the feeling you get when it comes to learning and eventually mastering the nuances of the new shooting mechanics is a rewarding one. The next-gen version of NBA 2K21 is by far the best-looking sports video game out there today. Running on a 4K TV with HDR, 2K is a visual masterpiece. Player models look dead-on like their real-life counterparts, from their faces, hairstyles, tattoos, and other nuances that you wouldn't see in the current-gen version of 2K21 or in any other sports game for that matter. The player models are flawless. Arenas also get a graphical uplift with better colors and lighting, a wider variety of people in the stands and on the court, along with subtle new details within the arenas themselves. Everything just looks incredible. There aren't many games that show off the graphical prowess of the next-gen consoles, but fortunately, NBA 2K21 is one that does. Presentation in the next-gen version of NBA 2K21 is on point as well. Commentary gets a huge upgrade with 4 different commentary teams, which essentially eliminates any repetitiveness during games. Special guests also join the booth from time to time as well, which also adds even more variety in the booth, and the banter between those calling the in-game action, highlights, and interviews are pleasing to listen to. As mentioned previously in this review, the arena experience also gets an upgrade in next gen, with more detailed crowds and people in seats and on the court. On-court sounds and visuals are accurate with the real-life experience, as well with crowd chants, music, and signage abound. The dreaded load times in current gen have also been eliminated in next gen, as you can now seamlessly move between menus, games, and cutscenes with no load times. The broadcast presentation package also gets a slight uplift with a new score bug and graphics package. However, pregame, halftime, and postgame presentation essentially remains the same as past 2K titles. I was expecting a change here with a more fully fleshed out halftime show with highlights from other games a la ESPN NFL 2K5. However, instead it's more of the same, which is solid, but with next gen, I was expecting a bit more. NBA 2K21 Next Gen will keep you busy if you decide to dabble into all of the different modes the game has to offer, including Quick Play, Blacktop, WNBA, 2KU, and Play Now Online. My League and My GM have now been combined into a single mode called My NBA, which essentially enables you to customize your NBA seasonal experience to the way you want to play it. The depth of this mode is super deep. In fact, it's deeper than any other sports franchise mode out today. In fact, the EA Madden team should take notes here. You can edit just about anything in this mode, from role-playing elements, CBA rules, NBA rules, G League games, off-season simulation. The list goes on and on. Franchise fanatics will have a field day with this mode. My team got most of its improvements on the current gen version, and on next gen the mode is essentially a port outside of some unique courts and venues. One good thing is that your collection from current gen will import to next gen. WNBA also gets its own single player MyCareer mode in next gen with the W. It's not as in-depth as the NBA MyCareer mode, but it does give you the ability to create a female baller and go through the rigors of the WNBA season. It's a nice addition to 2K and just one of the many modes for you to get sucked into. Just keep your expectations in check. Now, speaking of MyCareer, the next gen version gets a complete overhaul and is a change for the better when it works. The MyPlayer Builder gets rid of pie charts, which essentially gives gamers full control over their builds. Restrictions are in place that are intended to prevent OP builds, but there are certain power forward builds that many consider OP with 80 plus badge upgrades that are littered all over the city 2 months after release. Now, speaking of the city, this is MyCareer's new stomping grounds. Think of it as the neighborhood on steroids. The city is huge with MyPlayer separated by affiliations. Yes, affiliations are back that are sectioned off in different parts of the city. There are plenty of things you can do in the city, from park games, rec, various events in the centralized event center, warehouse challenges where you play 3v3 games versus AIs, and other modes of play. When it works, the experience is fantastic. Unfortunately, that isn't the case all the time. Among the issues with MyCareer include badge points not being counted, rep not being counted, issues with inviting friends, builds getting erased, exploiting the AI in rec, instant replays not showing up in NBA MyCareer games, camera angles not being saved, and other odd glitches like the Mamba mentality feature not working or VC not being rewarded after games. Some of these problems have been addressed via patches, while others have yet to be fixed. Now, speaking of VC, the idea of needing to pay to play in current gen rears its ugly head again with next gen. If you don't have enough VC for your new MyPlayer, you'll have to grind to earn VC, which is really time consuming, or pay real life money for VC to build up your player. Buying accessories, animations, and other gear for your MyPlayer also requires VC and can be expensive as well, essentially burning a hole in your virtual wallet. 2K needs to find a better way to balance VC costs with the VC earnings you get from playing games so that it's more feasible for gamers to enjoy the grind without feeling like they have to spend real money to build a baller that can actually compete both online and off. I was able to grind my first build to 99, but that was with having the free 100k VC from buying the current gen Mamba edition, grinding an entire NBA season, and paying for an additional 100k VC out of my own pocket, which I've never done since 2K introduced VC into their game several years ago. NBA 2K21 Next Gen is a much better experience versus current gen. The improvements in graphics, presentation, and gameplay make it a solid game at its core. However, once you dig deeper, you'll find that there are several issues that hurt specific aspects of the game, specifically its most popular MyCareer mode, and these problems are so prominent that the complaints and criticisms by gamers are warranted, preventing NBA 2K21 Next Gen from achieving perfection.